everybody. I'm your host, Carrie Horning, Career Connected Learning Specialist with NCESD 171. Welcome back to the North Central Washington MVP interview series, brought to you by Career Connect Washington and the Apple STEM Network. Today's episode will highlight Grant Transit Authority as yet another Career Connected Learning most valuable partner. And as I do each week, I like to remind you a win today looks like each of you leaving with a greater understanding of the services provided by these community partners and how they might help you, your students, your families, or your coworkers. So grab your lunch, sit back, and get ready for an extra dose of professional nutrition. Today's guest is JoBeth Carlson, Operations Manager at Grant Transit Authority. JoBeth has been with GTA for 7 years, which got me thinking, why is the number 7 so lucky? So I Googled it, and the article that I found took a deep dive into numbers and our brains and predictability, which is so far out of my league that the only reference that really stuck out to me was that of James Bond and 007, of which I'm a big fan, except for the new movie. I'm not really happy with that. So that may actually have to be a whole separate podcast. We can talk about that later. But anyways, I linked the article in the chat for all of you. But I'm here to tell you it's not as symbolic of luck, but that of hard work and fortitude, because JoBeth came to GTA 7 years ago as a driver, not knowing anything about the transit world, but quickly set her sights on being the operations manager. She worked her way up the ladder from driver to dispatch to safety training and coordinator, and now goal reached in that lucky number of 7 years to operations manager. She and her husband have 2 kids, which keep them plenty busy, but she also finds some time to enjoy gardening and knitting. So JoBeth, welcome, and thank you for being a Career Connected Learning MVP. Are you ready to kick this off?
Yep.
All right, let's do it. All right, so let's get started just real simple. Tell us a little bit about the history of Grant County Transit.
Okay, so next week we're going to be celebrating our 25th anniversary. So we'll be doing a little bit here and there throughout probably the next year, including a new 25-year logo. So in 1996, we formed a public transportation benefit area, which allows us to go before the voters for a request a sales tax increase. And on November 5th, 1996, the voters approved the sales tax increase of 0.2% sales tax. So 25 years later, we're still being funded by that same 0.2% 1% sales tax. And then we also go for federal and state grants.
Nice.
When we first started, we contracted all of our public transportation services with People for People. Mm-hmm. But then in 2010, we built our current operations building, which is what I'm in right now, and the maintenance facility. So in 2010, we brought all of our maintenance in-house. So we worked on all the buses for our service. And then in 2013, our board of directors decided to bring fixed route service in-house as well. So today we still have a contract with People for People, and they provide our access paratransit service, which is a requirement through the ADA to complement our regular fixed route.
Nice. Nice. And we talked a little bit before we started the actual interview today about the new logo and everything. And I love it. So I was just, maybe add that in real quick about when the new logo came up and all that.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah. So 5 years ago, for our 20th anniversary, as we're building the downtown transit center, which we call MTC, which is Multimodal Transit Center. To launch that and our 20th anniversary, we got a new logo, which is our, well, it's like this, but it's green and blue. And so that's our new logo. We rewrapped all the buses. We actually just got done wrapping some of our older ones that we got from Spokane, new to us, but older buses. And so now they're all wrapped and pretty with our green and blue.
Nice. They look great. They look great. Which, you know what, actually makes me think I had to, I was driving home from Spokane early one morning and passed a couple buses that had Minnesota license plates. And I was like, I wonder what city just bought new buses. So
Yeah.
I wonder, I wonder who that was. But anyways, well, good. Thank you for that. So I know that GTA has multiple programs. What can you tell us about each of those?
Yeah. So we do have our fixed route service that I was just talking about. We also have dial-a-ride transit, which we call DART, and then also our van pool program. So our primary service, fixed route service, means that basically we operate on a specific schedule in a specified route. So we have circulars in Moses Lake, also in Ephrata and Soap Lake, Warden, and Quincy. And we run Monday through Friday now, operating from about 5 in the morning to 8:30 at night. So our dial-a-ride service is what we offer to kind of our less populated communities in Grant County. So we have service out to Royal City, Mattawa, Grand Coulee, and Wilson Creek. And so DART rides only run if somebody calls us and tells us they need a ride. So generally, we schedule those 2 days in advance, and then we kind of put all the riders together in the order that works best for them. So we have morning trips and we have afternoon trips. Right now, our dial-a-ride service is taking off. We've got lots of people requesting that service, so that's pretty great. Yep, and so our dial-a-ride service, DART service. Basically what they do is we go to those ends of the county and bring people back into our regular fixed route service. So if somebody's in Royal City and they've got business, shopping, work, whatever in Moses Lake, we'll take them from Royal City, bring them down to our transit center, and then they can ride our regular route service.
Yeah, nice. I know the little bit of experience, and I think actually how we, kind of came to know one another was we were looking for some specific route information to get students from one location to another, and I know you guys worked really hard to try to make that happen. Sometimes it does and it's successful, and sometimes not, but definitely worth a phone call, right? So if anybody needs that, they can call in and just see if it works for them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, good. Okay, very cool. All right, so there's currently a big push right now, to increase the awareness of our environmental footprints. And what steps has GTA kind of taken to reduce its eco footprint here, specifically in the North Central Washington area?
Yeah. So we just got started in the electric bus game. We received grant funding to purchase 4 of our battery electric buses. Before I continue, I want to show you something here.
All right.
I thought this would be the easiest way. This is our kind of a mock-up of what our battery electric buses are. So, move out of the way.
Nice.
Anyway, so these will be our first zero emissions buses, and they're being built right now in California, putting all the pieces together and getting ready to ship them up here. So we also have to do some construction on our transit center in the concrete. So basically they're induction charging buses. So, they'll plug in like an electric vehicle overnight, but during the day, they will also charge through induction. So they'll pull up to our bay at downtown Moses Lake, and drivers usually have about 5 to 10 minutes before they head out on the next route. So they'll line up over the magnetic charging pad, and they'll charge for 5 to 10 minutes to kind of boost up that fuel, and then continue around. So last month we went to Link Transit, some of the managers, and just to see what their system was all about, because they already have the induction service. So we saw their plates and all their structure on how that works and stuff. So we're pretty excited to get going as well.
Yeah, very cool. I think I want to volunteer to drive them from California up to Moses Lake. So if you need any extra heavy road truckers, it's me. So that they look terrific. That is, somebody in the chat said, super cool how you have that as your background, and that's impressive. So
yeah, so you can see they're smaller buses. They're going to be 14 passenger buses. They'll have a lift so that we can operate for ADA.
Mhm.
And they will, the construction at MTC plus the buses being shipped hopefully will arrive sometime around March of 2022.
Nice.
And the buses will just operate in town so that they can make those loops and keep charging throughout the day. There's a lot of challenges with rural transit as far as electric buses because it takes a lot to get them charged up, and we travel a lot of miles, and there's not really a lot of charging locations that we can use.
Yeah, for sure.
It's a little bit bigger expense as far as that goes, but I'm sure technology will catch up soon. So it's a big push to do that.
Oh, that's pretty cool. Now, this is, I'm not sure if you can tell since it's now your background, but am I seeing bike racks on the front of the vehicle as well?
Yep, we have bike racks on all of our buses. We call these cutaways, and then our Gilligs, our larger buses, all have usually between 2 and 3 bike racks. So.
Nice, good. All right. All right. Well, you know what? I've got to ask this question because COVID has affected all of us. So hopefully, we're moving through it, but how did COVID-19 affect your ridership, and what kind of steps has GTA taken to ensure rider safety? Since the maybe more the bigger push days.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so March 2020, our ridership dropped significantly. Probably about, I think, 70% or so. And then that was due to everybody going remote learning. So we were no longer taking the Big Bend Community College students to class, and all of the work from home that's been done really dropped our ridership. We do still have federal mandates in place that require all employees and riders on public transit wear masks.
Mm-hmm.
And we also went zero fare collection, which is a trend in a lot of transit areas, because that way there's less contact between the driver and the passengers. We have plexiglass partitions that separate the passenger door from the driver portion so that everybody can keep social distance. And we have hand sanitizer stations on the bus. We also have sneeze guards in between the rows of the seats and stuff, but less contact between passengers.
Yeah, nice.
We also fog and disinfect our buses after every shift. So when a driver comes into the yard, the maintenance crew is fogging and disinfecting, and that happens. We have morning shifts, night shifts, so up to about twice per day.
Nice.
And then kind of what we learned from COVID, basically.
I'm a big silver lining gal. So what was the silver lining out of all that?
Mm-hmm. So aside from all the procedures for cleaning and sanitizing to keep our employees and our patrons safe, which we'll continue to do even after COVID's gone. Nice. I'd say the silver lining is that it made us look a closer look at our fixed route service that we were providing for Grant County prior to the pandemic, and we restructured our system. Our goal was to create better service for the agency as a whole, with minor to no negative impact on the community. So the passengers' needs and expectations were taken into careful consideration while adjusting the needs of the drivers and support staff. So we were able to kind of restructure our system, find out where the riders were riding and when, and make it so that our drivers were here for a straight shift instead of coming in a couple hours in the morning, coming in a couple hours at night. So it just made it a much better place to work.
Yeah. So long haul on that, or not long haul because we're only year and a half into it, but did that have a pretty big impact then on bottom line, say like gas expenses, labor expenses, all those things? I mean, does that make Grant Transit Authority a stronger community partner?
Yeah, I mean, the expenses did go up as ridership went down. Our ridership is back to about 50% of what it was to begin with. So, yeah, sorry.
Oh, that's all right. Oh. Yeah, well, that's good. I mean, it's good to
Yeah.
hear. It's always nice when things are streamlined, especially when you're starting to add more options with the dial-a-rides and whatnot. So yeah, that's
Yeah,
good.
and we changed up our service to make it more manageable for us, you know, financially as well. So
Yeah.
we're excited. We'll probably be keeping the same level of service at least for a couple of years. We'd like to see where it goes.
Yeah.
I'm talking to the community college again because their students are back in school, and so hoping to get to them and let them know, hey, you know, we're here for you.
Yeah. Yeah. So this is kind of an added thought as well. You know, as you know, Grant Transit Authority is trying to, you know, increase their ridership again. Is there anything that we can do as community partners and people attending, you know, today's interview series, you know, to kind of bring that back to the forefront of people's, you know, of people's mind, like, oh yeah, that's right. You know, if I need a ride, I can call them. But anything we can do specifically?
Yeah, we're a community-wide service. You know, we run everywhere, so just get that word out that, you know, we're here, and we have zero fare. We plan to continue doing zero fare at least through the end of next year.
Nice. Yeah, that's terrific. Okay. Well, usually in this interview series, I always say I'm kind of that, you know, I'm a feeler and I love the feel good stories. So usually I'm asking, you know, hey, what is it that has stayed with you, and what, you know, what's been a really great, you know, project or connections that's been made that stays with you. So is there one, you know, that kind of lives in your heart that's happened in your 7 years with GTA?
Yeah. So when I was a dispatcher, I noticed that the other dispatchers that were there before me kind of all had a little project that they worked on. Some were doing planning, some were doing kind of training, safety kind of things. And so I kind of looked and saw what was missing. And so I asked my manager, what do you think about doing some marketing and public relations? And they thought that was a great idea. So I got to do some projects, make some ads, and, you know, just kind of get out there and talk about transit with people. And so one of my favorite projects we did is the holiday bus. And we've been doing that every year since. I think it's probably been about 5 years that we've done that. And it's just been really well received by all of our patrons. They love to see the bus going down the road and all its lights. And we also do the parades. So there's one in the agriculture parade in Moses Lake, and then the holiday parade in Ephrata as well.
Nice.
And so the first year we did it, when we did have fare, we'd always make the Christmas bus, the free fare bus. So we'd send it out on different routes, and nobody knew exactly when it would be on their route. So we could kind of amp up some excitement for that. And one of our school routes that we did after school, all the kids got on the bus and got really excited, and the other riders there. So they all started singing Christmas carols on the bus. And that, you know, it was just an amazing experience for one of my drivers, and she still talks about it to this day.
That's terrific. I know I shared this story with you. You know, one of the feel good stories for me, and I don't usually do this in the interview, but we have a personal connection with GTA as well, because, you know, out here in George, we ended up putting our oldest on the GTA to head off to school in Ephrata. And it's a really weird feeling, but we felt so safe and so comfortable. The driver was fabulous, you know, really calmed us down as new parents, putting our little one on the bus to go out to, you know, the big real world out there. So anyways, we're super grateful to GTA for that. I know that was a great experience. So, so we have a question in the chat that I want to ask you. The question is, can you transport youth to a non-bus stop location?
So a lot of our bus stops are signed. If you're talking about a non-bus stop location that maybe isn't signed, we do have the ability to drop them off as long as it's in a safe location. So it just really depends on if it's on one of our routes or not. Dial-a-ride transit is a little bit more flexible. So if it's in one of those areas, then we could do that as well. Just kind of have to call dispatch, and we'll see what we can do to set that up.
Okay, good. Are there any other questions out there? No, while we're waiting, just in case. Oh, wait a minute, here, would you mind putting your contact info in the chat, Jo Beth?
Yeah, that'd be fine.
All right,
And
perfect.
I just want to add that students are able to ride the bus by themselves, 6 and older, so.
6 and older, okay.
Question.
Good deal. Well, I'm thinking that, I have connections in the Quincy, George area. I feel like, we might need to get you guys to come over and do the Farmer Consumer Awareness Day Parade.
Yeah, I'd love to do that. That's something I've always wanted to check out, and I have not had an opportunity to do that yet.
Yeah, well, these rigs are awesome. I don't know if the distance is too far to get one of the electric ones there, but one of the other buses would be super fun. So that's cool. Let's see. Oh yeah, we're put the new bus in the parade. So we got more votes for that. So.
Yeah.
All right. Well, good. Well, let's see here. We're actually ending up a little bit early, unless there's some other questions. Jo Beth's contact information is in the chat right now. So if anybody else, if nobody else is jumping in, I think, I just want to definitely put out a reminder. Next Wednesday at 12:15 will be the last one in our series of the North Central Washington MVP, Most Valuable Partners. However, we've had some pretty good response to it. So I think we're going to be able to pick it up again the first of the year. And we're also going to really kind of expand our reach into upper North Central Washington. We'll probably partner up with some community partners in more the Wenatchee, Okanagan area. So anyways, looking forward to that. Oh, and yeah, I'm sorry. The next week, the Boys and Girls Club is going to be our interviewee, our most valuable partner. But we've got, let's see here. We've got something coming up in the chat. Hopefully, you know what? That's a direct message, so I'll hold that one. Excellent. Well, listen, it's 12:37. We're going to give you guys back your time here this afternoon. We appreciate everybody coming to the NCW MVP series. Jo Beth, it was a pleasure working with you. Thank you very much for agreeing to do this. I know this came out of left field for everybody who's been participating to, hey, let's do a podcast together. But I think it's been very well received. So thank you very much. And everybody go have a terrific day. And we'll see you next Wednesday.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you.